Give us some examples of some of the people that you've met at South by Southwest that have really been kind of game changers for you.
Well, I'm an author. I've written several books and I speak at conferences myself. And there's a lot of people there who do that, both who are on panels and who are there to listen. And I actually last year met an author from England who, he is an author, he's a speaker, he's a consultant, and we hung out together one night. We went around to some of the great parties, and we've kept in touch now over the course of the last year, and he writes about some of the stuff on his blog that I talk about. I promote some of the stuff that he does on my blog, and that's just going to lead over time to one of us being able to deliver a big opportunity to the other one, or vice versa.
That's really, really neat. How then, in terms of since you started attending South by Southwest, how has it really changed over the past number of years? I mean, what have you experienced in terms of how it's developed?
It's gotten so much bigger, not only from the number of people who attend, but it used to be, I think they have 300 speakers and panelists. The first year I applied to speak, I think 800 people applied for 300 spots, and now I think it's thousands of people apply. So,
and you got picked.
And I got picked.
Right on.
So
it's a big deal. He's a big deal.
So I think the biggest change is that it's gotten bigger both in who's attending, in the quality of the panels and the presentations, but also then the audience has grown so much. Now that brings with it some negatives in the fact that it's, with a larger crowd, sometimes it's even harder to connect with other people than it is in a smaller crowd. So that's why you have to really seek out who it is you want to meet with, reach out to people in advance, set up coffees, set up dinners, because that's going to be the conduit to you making connections.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute then. What advice would you have, your #1 piece of advice for somebody attending South by Southwest for the first time?
Schedule, schedule, schedule. Go through the calendar and look at which panels do you want to go to, which speakers do you want to see, what parties do you want to be at, and map it out. Because if you just sort of leave it to chance, you're going to miss some great things. And there are so many things going on simultaneously at South by Southwest. If you don't have a plan, you're just going to flop.
So do you have any memory of South by Southwest, any really neat experience or story you can share with us that you've had since attending?
Well, I think my biggest memory is the 2008 keynote interview of Mark Zuckerberg by Sarah Lacy. And it was a little bit of a train wreck. But what was most interesting wasn't the actual presentation itself that just sort of got derailed by the audience and other stuff. But it was sort of the way it all morphed afterwards, both in the press, in social media, in the hallways of people talking. I mean, the lore, the gossip, and the rumors that grew up around it. It was amazing, but I learned that you have to be careful as a presenter because these things can have a life of their own. And so I think that, while not necessarily a great example, it certainly was a memorable example.
That's really great feedback. I've actually heard a few people say that was a memorable experience for them, but a great sort of overview of why. I mean, what actually happened there.
It was, and I don't mean to be critical, but one of the worst presentations I've ever seen at a conference, but in a way it became one of the best because of sort of where it all went afterwards.
Okay, well everybody, if you want to see more of Thom Singer, come on March 12th. It's Friday. See his core conversation. You can find out more about Thom Singer at thomsinger.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to see you.